order has been passed by the Honorable District Court Varanasi. So we are very happy and we are very thankful and grateful to the Honorable District Court Varanasi, which has accepted our demand of ASI survey. The entire area apart from the Wazu tank will be surveyed by the ASI. The central dome, beneath the central dome there are 3 Hindu Mandir Shikhar, that will be examined, that will be investigated. The western wall will be investigated, the pillars will be investigated, Vyasji's Taikhana will be investigated. So these are very important and crucial aspects which will be looked into by the SI, and a report will be submitted which has a value of an expert opinion under section 45 of the Indian Evidence Act, read with order 26 rule 10 of the CPC.
Vishnu, this order has now come in. What would be the techniques that would be used by the archaeological?
See, I cannot as of now say about the techniques. The techniques will be decided by the experts and the scientists after doing the ground inspection and ground.
What are the general techniques that are used?
The general techniques are ground penetration radar, the excavation methods by various other technologies. Apart from that, there will be dating methods. Now, I don't want to use the terminology carbon dating because that can lead to various faults. So let us wait, let the order come, let the SI go and have a spot inspection. Then I will apprise you about the various techniques which will be used by the SI.
Last and final question, would you be filing a caveat in the Supreme Court of the Allahabad High Court?
Yes, definitely we will file the caveat before the Supreme Court, and we will request the Supreme Court and the Allahabad High Court that in the wisdom the Honorable District Court, so far as the trial is concerned, has passed this order, so there is no question of any stay, and let the matter be proceeded with.
So this was Vishnu Jain was speaking to us with regards to how the Varanasi Court has now ruled in the favor of the Hindu side, clearly saying that the Archaeological Survey of India survey is something that needs to be done at the whole premises regarding the AK Vishwesha temple, except for the Wazu area. If you remember the case pertaining to the ASI survey, the Wazu area is already before, in fact, the Supreme Court of India. The Supreme Court had stayed that particular thing. But apart from that particular area, the other areas, the central dome and the various other places with regards to the western wall and certain pillars that were there, will now be, surveyed by the Archaeological Survey of India. As Vishnu was pointing out, various techniques like GPR radar systems would be used in order to see as to when was these particular structures made, what time period do these structures belong to, and whether clearly putting an end to the question that whether or not this is a Hindu temple or is it a mosque. When was it built? Was it built by Aurangzeb or was it built before that is something, these questions will be answered in the ASI survey. But legally talking, this might be challenged before either the Allahabad High Court or the topmost court of the country, as we are already seeing matters before the Supreme Court. Whether or not the Supreme Court would stay some kind of a survey at this particular part is something that is a matter of time. We'll get to know. But at this point of time, a big win coming in for the Hindu side from the Varanasi District Court, clearly ruling in favor of the Hindu side. However, a detailed order copy is yet to be out in order to see as to what reasonings have the court given and what is the direction that have been given to the Archaeological Survey of India.
All right, Ananya, I'm going to request you to continue staying with us. This is indeed a big win for the Hindu side as far as the Gyanvapi case is concerned. We've also shown you visuals of all those petitioners who've been celebrating over this big verdict. Let's also listen into some reactions that have come in.
देखिए अभी ये इसका सर्वे का अभी सर्वे का स्वरूप जो है वो शाम तक तय हो जाएगा, क्योंकि अदालत ने एक विस्तार से इस पूरे आदेश को जो है इस सर्वे के आदेश को लेकर जो गाइडलाइंस है वो अदालत देगी, जिसमें जो माना जा रहा है कि 5 सदस्यीय टीम बन सकती है। 4 अगस्त को अगली सुनवाई होगी, तो उस सुनवाई में माना जा रहा है कि जो केंद्र सरकार और राज्य सरकार को निर्देश देंगी कि वो पुरातत्वविदों की टीम गठित कर एसआई सर्वे को करे, तो ऐसे में पुरातत्व विभाग की जो टीम होगी उसका प्रशासन को जो पूरा प्रारूप प्रशासन तय करेगा कि कितने बजे सर्वे होगा, कब से सर्वे होगा, कितने दिन सर्वे होगा, कौन कौन लोग सर्वे में शामिल होंगे, कौन कौन से पुरातत्वविद शामिल होंगे। बीएचयू से भी पुरातत्वविद लिया जा सकते हैं, दिल्ली से भी पुरातत्वविद लिया सकते हैं, लखनऊ से भी क्या पुरातत्वविद, तो एक टीम तय होगी, एक पूरा जिसे कह सकते हैं कमेटी तय होगी। वो कमेटी आके अदालत को बताएगी कि कैसे वो लोग एसआई सर्वे करेंगे, कैसे लोग विज्ञानिक परीक्षण करेंगे, या चूंकि वहां पर धार्मिक स्थल का मामला है तो ऐसे में बिना किसी खंडित हुए कौन कौन सी ऐसी टेक्निक है इसमें भारत में जिन टेक्निक से पुरातत्व की जांच हो रही है
Let's quickly go back to Ananya, who continues to stay with us. Ananya, what comes to mind is this really a big win for the Hindu side, considering the Wazukhana is still off limits, where the contentious fountain actually is?
Well, definitely it is a very, very big win, because you have to understand that if at all the ASI survey confines and is also coincides with the claim of the Hindu side, then definitely it also points out that, you know, the structure that is found there might be a shivling. But all these questions would be only answered after the Archaeological Survey of India actually conducts a survey. Now, what would be interesting, Akansha, to see is that whether this survey could actually take place, or whether there would be challenges to it before the topmost court of the country, or the Allahabad High Court. And this is again stayed as it was with regards to the area regarding to the Wazukhana. And if at all this survey is allowed for, if at all the survey is conducted, and then it comes out to be, you know, a big win for the Hindu side as well, then definitely that particular orders of the topmost court of the country can also be challenged by the Hindu side, clearly saying that, you know, the other areas, the other structures that are existing in that particular premises that is under contention is, you know, a Hindu temple was built before Aurangzeb's time, and that's the reason why, in fact, what is found at the Wazukhana is something that is a shivling and not a fountain. So all that can be used by the Hindu side after Archaeological Survey of India report comes in, after the Archaeological Survey of India conducts a particular survey, and in fact the court has asked the ASI to conclude its survey and submit a final report by August 4. First, the court would be apprised as to how the ASI would be conducting this particular survey, and when this survey is actually conducted, the final report would also be given out to the Varanasi Court, which is seized off this particular matter. Remember that it was the topmost court of the country, that is the Supreme Court of India, which had directed all the matters pertaining to the Gyanvapi to actually go before the district judge. Since district judge is a seasoned lower court judge, he has a particular amount of experience, particular years of experience, and now the matter can come before the Allahabad High Court and the Supreme Court as well. So what would be the next step from the Muslim side? Would it be Allahabad High Court or the Supreme Court? That would be answered in a few more days, and we'll have to see as to how in fact the whole of this matter goes up to the topmost court of the country.
And having said that, and how significant is this time period going to be now for the Muslim side as well, considering the next hearing is going to be taking place on August 4?
Well, the next hearing is on August 4. Between this particular time, they can actually approach the Allahabad High Court of the Supreme Court. They can challenge this particular order and can actually seek a stay on the ASI survey that is being conducted. However, whenever this will happen, the Supreme Court would or would not intervene is something that we'll get to know when the matter reaches either the Allahabad High Court or the Supreme Court. So definitely a big win coming in for the Hindu side, troubles for the Muslim side coming in into this particular case with ASI survey being ordered, because remember, if at all the ASI, the Archaeological Survey of India, says that it was a Hindu temple that was built before Aurangzeb's time and Aurangzeb demolished this particular temple, then definitely this case is going in favor of the Hindu side, and we are already seeing the Supreme Court already seized of two matters, one pertaining to the Gyanvapi case that is to be heard on August 29, and another with regards to, you know, the Vishnu Jain case, which is also to be heard after 3 weeks today. So definitely a very, very significant order coming in for the Hindu side, though the details of which would be coming out in a short while from now. When the court actually gives out a detailed order copy, we'll get to see what are the guidelines that are set for the Archaeological Survey of India, whether there are certain timelines given to the ASI or some kind of, you know, the Archaeological Survey of India has been asked to not go to a particular area, not to touch a particular thing, or there is a ways that is, you know, given to the Archaeological Survey of India to conduct its operations and to conduct this survey. So definitely a big win for the Hindu side, but obviously a troublesome task coming in for the Archaeological Survey of India yet again, after, if you remember, the Archaeological Survey of India had also conducted a survey in the Ram Janmabhoomi case, which was a very, very crucial evidence when the Ram Janmabhoomi case was heard by the topmost court of the country, and this would also be another very, very crucial evidence when the survey is actually conducted by the Archaeological Survey of India.
Ananya, when you asked Vishnu Jain about the time frame when the ASI can conduct this survey, he said that it can happen any time between 3 to 6 months. But at the same time, he also had given earlier an example of the Ram Janmabhoomi case, where in fact it took 3 years for the ASI to conduct its survey.
Well, definitely, you know, in the Ram Janmabhoomi case, the area of contention was much of a larger size. It was almost double the size of what is there at the AK Vishwesha temple, and that's the reason why, in fact, Vishnu was also saying that, you know, in that case it took almost 3 years to do that particular survey. It was ordered in 2002 and then happened in 2005. The report came in 2005. While in this case, we might see that the Advocate Commissioner's survey or the ASI survey actually takes place in a span of months or probably 1 year. That is for the Archaeological Survey of India to decide. However, periodical reports might also be sent to the court by the ASI when the survey actually begins with regards to, you know, how is the survey going, what has so far been found, and finally, when the final report actually comes in, the court would be examining that particular report and would be seeing as to how and what is the finding of the Archaeological Survey of India. But all of that can only happen if there is no bar from any higher court in this. So Muslim side would definitely be approaching, in fact,
Right.
the Allahabad High Court or the Supreme Court. And as we spoke to Vishnu, asked him this particular question as well. So he is also prepared. The Hindu side would be filing caveats both before the Allahabad High Court and the Supreme Court, so that if at all any kind of appeal is made by the Muslim side, then the Hindu side is also heard before any order is passed in this particular case. Akansha.
So when you talk about the reports that are going to be submitted by the ASI on 4th of August, will that also be a periodical report that will be submitted by the ASI, or will this be the final report?
Well, as far as the court has said that, you know, the Archaeological Survey is to conduct its survey and then give out a report to August 4. This is a clear direction for the Archaeological Survey to conduct the survey by August 4. However, if the survey actually needs more time, if the Archaeological Survey thinks that there is more time needed, it would not be possible in this particular span of time, then the Archaeological Survey of India can go on and so seek for more time and say that, you know, this particular time frame of either 4 months, 6 months, or whatever the Archaeological Survey of India feels fit, can actually direct, ask the court to direct that, you know, this much time should be given, and then the survey can actually continue in this particular case. Whether or not that would be a final report is something that we'll get to know when the Archaeological Survey of India actually decides as to how, by which method and in what time frame does it want to conduct this particular survey that is there, has been ordered by the Varanasi District Court.
Ananya, in fact, there's much to be discussed.